We want justice for Julius.
My name is Jimmy Lawson from Oklahoma City. I'm a longtime close friend with Julius Jones.
President Liberty from North Island, USA.
My name is Andre Hurd from Oklahoma City. I went to John Marshall High School. Julius was my teammate on the basketball team. I was a freshman when he was a senior.
Supporting him. We've been behind him since day one. I grew up with them, played baseball, football, everything. God, man, known him since elementary school.
Wow. I'm here from my teammate, my brother.
Teammate, as in, what, y'all used to hoop together? Or?
High school.
Right on.
I'm Daly, I'm from Oklahoma City.
Okay.
I'm Cameron from Oklahoma City.
I'm Renee Norwood, I'm from Oklahoma City.
My name is Eddie Dana, born and raised in Oklahoma City.
I'm Chris Lisinski, born and raised in Oklahoma. Went to John Marshall, that's my brother. He went to John Marshall, these are my two minions.
Terre, T-E-R-R-E, last name is Gables, G-A-B-L-E-S, Oklahoma City.
It's my son's birthday.
Okay, and birthday boy, what's your name and how old are you?
My name is Andrew Lisinski and I'm 13 years old.
Well, happy birthday, brother.
We were going to throw him a birthday party today, but he said he'd rather sacrifice his one and only 13th birthday party for Julius's one and only life.
Wow,
yeah,
that's really cool, man. And most importantly about that is that on your birthday, you're thinking about somebody else.
Exactly.
So that really speaks volumes to who you are and how your parents are raising you.
Exactly.
Okay? So I'm really proud to even be talking to you guys for that. That's awesome, man.
Nadia Dana, born and raised Oklahoma City.
I'm Anthony R. Douglas, President for the State of Oklahoma, NAACP, member of the National Board of Directors, NAACP.
Richard and Barbara Garrett from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
In Kim House, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
We out here at the state capitol right now. We're doing a free Julius Jones rally. His story's been premiered on ABC Last Defense. It's getting crazy love from the marketplace, and we're here to keep that momentum going. The name of the game for today is to allow people to see how unity can play a difference in this case.
Personally, I've been knowing Julius' family all my life. His mother and the whole Davis family, been knowing them all my life. Been knowing them since I was a little boy. I don't remember not knowing him. So.
That's my second cousin. I never knew him. He been in jail ever since I was born, so my family.
Well, I am the Director of Communications for the NAACP State Conference under the leadership of Anthony R. Douglas. He is the president, and I'm out here doing support. We're giving the NAACP as much awareness in what it does in supporting and standing by those that, whether they've been offended or discriminated against, or if they're fighting for justice, we're there for you, the NAACP.
Well, I was 4 when it happened, and hearing about it out there, because this is my cousin, and just honestly just learning about it is just a really sad, tragic situation, and it's just something that weighs on us.
It was a time in the era in Oklahoma City where, you know, we as African American males we really couldn't go into this area called Edmond, Oklahoma. So at that time there was a lot of racial tension, and because of that particular culture, you had a white gentleman that happened to be killed by a black suspect, and the city kind of just blew that up. So as that case went to trial, there was a strong ambiance about racial tension, and the jurors and the defendants and prosecution were really hammering the fact that it was white versus black. And the reality is really about right and wrong. And Julius Jones simply did not commit that crime.
Well, one of the things I have to say, we have to remember that Oklahoma, has always been known in certain towns as what we call the sundown town. And we had signs that say, nigga, be out of town before sundown. So when we look at when the year these signs was finally taken down, and when this case had happened, we looked at also, as I was brought in on the case to review it, that all the African American jury was taken off the jury. There was no African American jury. So we looked at this being a prominent white businessman from Edmond, Oklahoma. For those of us who knows Oklahoma from back in the 80s and the 70s, and even the 80s and 90s, we realized that even today, racism is still alive and well in Oklahoma, even though we may not want to talk about it. But so when we got the conviction, we know that there was a lot of loopholes. When you had the words of Julius Jones himself, as one police officer took his handcuff off and say, "Run, nigga." And I'm going to use the N-word. I'm not going to baby this thing up. And they told him to run, nigga. So even with the police officer, it was a boss trial. We know that at the time, it was only evident that the DAs them wanted to get a conviction. They didn't care who they convicted, as long as they got a conviction. So that's some of the things that we're looking at. Also, we looked at some of the jury and made the statement that we should take the nigga out back and shoot him.
It's just you see stuff like this happening too often, and it's time that somebody gets help.
They just need to get the facts straight, so they won't be killing the innocent man. And then seeing that's just going like that in the system, just not here, but around the globe. You know what I'm saying? Innocent people getting killed and they getting a fair trial.
Based on what we saw on the last defense, Julius was totally just set aside and not given the opportunity to defend himself, and they ignored all kind of obvious evidence that it was not him. And I just truly believe that the police officers and the lawyers, and they just wanted to get somebody. They weren't interested in solving the case. They were just wanting to get some black man, one black man, to go down for that. So I think it was a total injustice on behalf of Julius. He should have had the opportunity to speak for himself, and the lawyers could have done a much better job at representing.
Just knowing that this has happened to him, it hurts, and finally that we got a group of people to get out here to support him and get him off this, because just from day one you knew it wasn't him. Just the person he was and his family, and it was never Julius. We all know that. The community knows that. Even the court system knows that. It's going to get fixed.
And my brother, who's a good friend with one of the Davises, informed us about the show, The Last Defense. We've been following it closely, and it just broke my heart to know that I vaguely remember the trial when all that happened, and my brother reminded me of what was going on and what had happened back then. I just felt the need to come to the rally and show my support, and of course been praying for him and hoping for the best for Julius.
We've seen the kind of the racialized remarks that took place throughout the trial.
You mean when they used nigger?
Yes,
Okay.
and more than once.
More than once. You're not going to get the NI ... stuff from me. You're going to get real talk. So go ahead.
Absolutely. And you know, in regards to that, how do you feel that the nature of the case, how was it handled, and how do you think it should be rectified?
Well, I think everybody out here has their own opinion concerning the outcome of Julius Jones's case. One of the reasons is that everybody has a loved one in their family that they can relate to in some form or fashion, or they know someone who has been a victim of injustice. So this is just a similar situation of circumstances that people are standing on, that they believe that if we get it in front of the right decision makers, there can be a change, not just for Julius Jones, but for anyone that's facing something like Mr. Jones.
One of the things that I ask for the voting public to do, we must get on jury. We cannot keep squelching and running from a jury. When it's our time to be on jury, let's get on jury to do the right thing. We don't want to just run away from a jury just because we don't feel that $70 or $35 an hour is worth our time. Let's get on jury so we can make sure that people don't wind up in this situation and everyone can receive a fair trial.
Right here's where it all starts.
Come out and vote, because if you don't vote, how can you, let me put it to you like this, do not complain about what you permit. Simple as that. You keep your message new, next, and now. We come out here, you see this happening right now. This is real time, folks. You got to get involved. You have to engage, because if you don't, how do you expect change? It's not going to happen. You can get on your knees and pray, but guess what? Even after you pray, you got to get off your knees and do something about that prayer. Money don't fall off leaves, and neither does prayer action. So we have to be that action. And I always tell people consistently, do not complain about what you permit. Get out there and vote.
You know, I think we just have to exhaust all legal remedies with respect to the appeals process with this matter. As far as race is concerned, you can't really change people's hearts. But I think one major piece of his case is that, you look at jury selection, you look at the jury in that case. I think black people need to make an effort to try to stay on juries. I understand that, the money, the per diem that they give you is not very high, and it affects you in a negative way financially if you sit on a jury for a week and sometimes more. However, it's been said that jury service is the highest form of civil service. And I think it's very important, especially for people in our community, to make those juries actually adequately represent what the community looks like. And oftentimes, that's just not the case. I'm a criminal defense lawyer, and I've sat on several trials involving people of color that didn't include a person of color on the jury. Voters can be informed. I actually happen to be a political candidate. I'm running for Oklahoma House District 99 right now. And I encourage all voters to go out, research the candidates, and make sure we're voting for the people that have the most experience and the most ability to come down here and fight for your rights at the Capitol.
Yeah, we've got some handouts today, and it's got some good contact information on those handouts where they can write letters, make phone calls to the state capitol and some of the other judicial branches here in Oklahoma. So I encourage everybody that's in the rally, grab one, take advantage of the contacts, and let's get that word out to get Julius Jones back home.
They got to educate themselves more with the communities and the people that's in them. They need to think more of an open heart. They said justice is blind, but they're not thinking with their hearts. That's why Julius is where he's at now. Because if they actually looked at everything and did what they're supposed to do, and his defense team was only lazy and they were going through everything they needed to do and process the DNA on that bandana, I'm pretty sure that would have just got everything fixed. But just through the whole trial process, it was just, Julius had no chance, and it's not fair.
There's ways they can do to help with this situation and the bigger picture for anybody else go through this. They can vote, get involved with politics, they can go out and just reach out to the community, reach out to churches. They can just reach out and help a hand. There's so many things you can do just because there's so much wrong with the world.
Yes, I'm a registered voter, been a registered voter since I was 18 years old. And it's very important to register to vote. And more important than that is to actively vote. And actively seek causes that you participate in. Whether it be through your church, through your organization, through your family. Just like today, a lot of family here, a lot of people new to family. Just exercise your right. If you're not registered, register. And please vote. And read the news. Get on social media. Read what's going on the internet. You'll be surprised how much information you can gather where you can inform, where you can make an informed decision and an informed opinion about this situation, especially about this situation.
Suck up your pride and vote.
Well, the important thing is justice. And when we say justice in 2018, what does that mean? To me, and I'm only speaking for myself on behalf of the state conference president, NAACP, Anthony R. Douglas, the president, we have talked about this case for quite some time. And when we talk justice behind the closed doors, when there's no one listening, true justice, it creates a platform where there's no more harm done. And that's the goal with the NAACP. We don't want to see any further harm done to the Julius Jones family, Mr. Jones himself, or anyone else that may be facing such a situation as this.
Well, like I just thankful. There's always somebody good and accountable bad people. And like I said, you can't beat them, join them. So we need more black people on the law force and things like that. Just get out there and just become those good people. Because there's always going to be those bad people in the place of power. But if we could just keep adding people of color to the system, then we can become a better place.
Honestly, I mean, we've seen the facts. You know, it's up to us as a whole, as a group, to try to get out here and make our voices heard, man, so we can get our brother a new trial, man, and bring him home. He's an innocent man. You know, he's done enough time behind bars. We're trying to get him back.
I mean, just get involved. It's like there's things happening like all the time that you can get involved in. You just got to be able to look for it.
I would like for you all to look closely at this case and see that this young man has served 20 years for somebody else's crime, and that whoever's out there who has anything to do with this, I feel like you should speak up. This is an injustice to Julius, and he deserves his freedom.
They can do a lot. They can decide whether we get a new trial or not.
You know, this last offense has brought supreme hope for Julius Jones. Over the past 2.5 weeks, his voice is sounding positive and good. He's excited that people have finally had a chance to see the real story. You know, he's been in jail for 19 years, so over the past 19 years, he's really been in this bubble of, can people really hear the truth about what really happened in my case? So thank God for ABC Network. They came in, did the story. It's been publicized nationally. So going forward, they've got some good things going on in the court system right now on his behalf. So, man, we are really hopeful that Julius is going to be coming home soon.
Well, actually, what we're hoping for that they release him altogether. Let's not put him through another retrial. Let's look at the evidence. One of the things that I will be doing is calling on the DA to turn over the file, what he's got, to the prosecutors in the documents, because there's a lot of evidence that has not been turned over. And even though the federal prosecutor requested them, they have been dragging their feet on non-responsive to get those things. So that's one of the things that we're saying. If you're not going to turn over the evidence and give him a fair trial, release him from prison.
Absolutely.
Let's get him off of death row. And that's why I stand with on behalf of the Oklahoma State NAACP.
Because of what the information that we received on TV, we had to be blind, crippled, crazy. It didn't add up. And I felt that I needed to come out and support him and his family, just to let them know that we believe that he is innocent. We believe that he was not fairly represented, and was not, also the jury was prejudiced. It was obvious. And so I came out just to let the family know that we believe that he would come home one day. And the rest of his life
about that.
be
That's
free.
going to happen.
We need to abolish the death penalty. Just people are on there that they say God says eye for an eye. You let God make that decision. We're not the ones that make that decision. We put them where they need to be and continue up from there. Again, we need to get out and vote, and also, we need to, we also got to think about the future. If we take care of our teachers and stuff, we get more education out there. Like for my kids here, I'm raising them right to just think with a caring heart and an open heart, and especially when it comes to voting, we need to have an open heart on that as well. A lot of people aren't thinking that way. They think it just because there's a D or an R next to the name, that's how they got to vote. They need to vote with common sense.
Well, of course, the goal is to get this man exonerated.
Absolutely.
And he can go home and be at home with his loved ones and be loved on. In the process, there's a lot of things that need to be done. This is just the beginning of what actress and Oscar, winner Viola Davis has created, a platform and an awareness for individuals that may not have a voice. So her step forward in taking this on has only given us the inspiration through the NAACP to jump on board as well, which we need support still from other organizations just like ours that will support injustices and make sure it gets in front of the decision makers so the change can be made, sir.
Man, these systems be crooked, man, and I need them to do whatever they can do or whatever they have to do to try to make sure that we get these systems straight, the system is broken, sometimes they get it right, but a lot of times they get it wrong. We don't need them getting it wrong.
It's a total injustice. I think that the judicial system should look at the cases fairly without considering race. I think that they should get people to represent people like Julius a lot better than what he's had in the past.
This is a judicial matter. This is a matter for the courts. Maybe we would have a situation, the way that his case has garnered so much attention, not just locally but nationally, he definitely be looking at having a better legal team defending him this go around. He wouldn't have the public defender's office, which is no slight to the public defender's office, but they usually have heavy caseloads and they don't have the resources that that many private lawyers have.
Hey, Oklahoma, you are watching Ask the People.
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 Hey, you're watching Ask the People.
You are watching Ask the People.
Julius, I want to make sure you know that the Oklahoma State NAACP and the National NAACP, we stand in coherent and support of you. We are here for Julius Jones.
We are here for Julius Jones.
And I am here for Julius Jones.
I'm here for Julius Jones.
So keep your head up, man, and we wishing you to come home, man. Much love. We praying for you and your family.
Juju, I love you, bro. We're trying to do our best to get you home, man. We see you soon. We love you.
We are here for Julius Jones.
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 We are here for Julius Jones. We love you, brother.
Today in this rally, where people of all generations, people of all color have come and say justice must prevail. Lord, we speak Julius' name, and we hope that as we speak it, that he hears it and that you hear it, and that in love that you would release Julius and justice would be served. Lord, we ask that no longer must his family endure this hardship. No longer must his community ask when truth will prevail. Lord, we ask right now. Lord, not tomorrow, but right now. Because as you open the jail cells for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Lord, open the jail cells for Julius this day. Lord, open it right now. How long must he wait? Lord, we cry freedom. 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 For Julius. Freedom for his family. Freedom for all those that are sitting on death row. Wrongfully charged. We say freedom. We ask this in the precious and holy name. Free Julius Jones this day. How long?
Bible scripture, we have Bishop James Lawson Sr.
Yes, that's my good.
Well, I say, thank you for allowing me to share with you what I believe in my heart, a scripture that would represent the moment, the days, and the hours that I have experienced with this young man. I've watched him grow up, and I hope that this scripture will manifest itself and resonate with you some kind of way. I believe that Julius is aspiring for benefits. He wants to be released, and we want him released. So allow me to read Psalms 103 in its partiality. I will be reading from the Message Bible, and there will be some emphasis that I would like for you to share with me. It says, "Oh, bless the Lord, oh my soul, from head to toe. I'll bless his holy name. Oh, my soul, bless God. Don't forget a single blessing. He forgives your sins, every one of us. He heals your diseases, every one of us. He redeems you from the hellish ways, saves your life. He crowns you with love and mercy and a paradise crown. He wraps you in goodness, beauty, and eternal. He renews your youth. You're always young in his presence." Emphasis here. God makes everything come out right. He puts victims back on their feet. He showed Moses how he went about his work, opened up his plans to all of Israel. Not easily angered, he's rich in love. He doesn't endlessly nag. He hinders nothing. He scolds nothing. He holds no grudges forever. He doesn't treat us according to what we deserve. As high as heaven is over the earth, so strong is his love to those who fear him. And as far as the sunrise is from the sunset, he's separated and has separated us from our wrongs. And finally, is an emphasis, as parents feel for their children, God feels for those who fear him. I hope that according to this writing was by David, who was recognizing the benefits of God, I believe the benefit we're looking for is for him to be vindicated. And I hope you take this word with you and use this word and remind God who he is. And I thank you all in the Lord's name. I'm going to have everybody repeat after me, because we need to show the world what we want today.
So repeat after me. We want justice.
We want justice.
Free JJ.
Free JJ.
We want justice.
We want justice.
Free JJ.
Free JJ.
We want justice.
We want justice.
Free JJ.
Free JJ. All right.
First, let me start off. I would like to give honor, respect, and sympathy to Paul Howe's family. Death is never an easy thing. He was a beloved man in which tragedy has impacted from all around the world. As we stand here to seek justice and exoneration for Julius Jones' wrongful conviction, we pray that the real corporate, is brought to justice and ultimately brings closure for the Howe family. Julius was a big writer. He likes to write poems. He sent me a poem for me to read to you all. And it's called Justice for Myself. Thanks for the magnificent outpouring love and support. It means more than you know. Your presence here this evening fills me with belief that change and real justice is upon us. But we must remain vigilant and perseverance in seeking injustice to be corrected with actions today. For another day on death row is cruel and unusual ferment. I could ramble on and on about this living nightmare of uncertainty that I'm still doing, but your call to arms on his behalf shall sustain him and uplift him every day of his life. He says, thank you all for believing in who he is. Our first speaker today is going to be Reverend Don Heath. He is the chairman for the Oklahoma Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty. Let's give him a hand of praise.
Thank you, thank you. I'm the pastor of Edmond Trinity Christian Church, and I've lived in Edmond for 20 years. I lived in Edmond when the Paul Howe murder took place. And I want you to know that my whole congregation watched the show, and they're convinced that Julius is innocent. How many people here watch the show? I mean, I think that says it all for us. We need to get that around and get people to watch it, especially people that have Julian's fate in their hands. But I would also ask that my congregation wrote Julius a birthday card this week, and he wrote right back. He'll write a card back as soon as he gets it from you. The people of Edmond, I wouldn't paint with a broad brush. The people of Edmond, a lot of people will listen to this and be sympathetic, and listen to this with open hearts and open minds. So let's try to get the message, not write them off, and reach out to the people of Edmond too as we're doing this. It was the police department, a few people in the police department of both Oklahoma City and Edmond, and I think Bob Macy is the DA. Bears a lot of responsibility for it as well. Well, what I want to talk to you in my brief time here is about Julius as the person. I've had the chance to talk to Julius on the phone 3 times a week for the last few weeks. I visited him in the H unit on Saturday and visited him for 2 hours. It's hard for me to go talk to him because I know what he's had to endure, and it's hard to see somebody that has to live that every day. But I can tell you that his spirit is amazing through all of this. He's a thoughtful, sensitive, caring person. I couldn't do that. I mean, it would wear me down. I'd probably just withdraw in depression, living there, going through that. Whenever Julius talks about, I don't know how many times I've heard him talk about the tragedy of the Paul Howell family. He doesn't want to minimize that. He wants everybody to remember that the Paul Howell family has suffered an unbelievable tragedy. He says, I'm suffering a tragedy too. And I want people to hear my story. He feels like what he's so pleased about with that documentary is that he finally feels like he got to have his story heard.
Yeah.
One thing that I think you can do for Julius is write letters to him. They'll get there in 2 days, and he'll respond to all of them. He's gotten a lot of mail since the TV show come out, and it lifts his spirits to know that people see him as a human being. People aren't seen as human beings in McAlester, on death row. I mean, when I went there, it was like it wasn't America. When you walk in there, it's just a hard, cold place with lots of rules. Julius says it's all concrete and steel. When you visit the bar stools, you sit on a bar stool. It's a hard bar stool. It's hard to sit on it for very long. You have to get up and walk around. Julius reads a lot. I asked him, how's your day? What's going on? That seems like kind of a bad thing to ask somebody in prison, but he appreciates it. And a couple of days ago I asked him that, and he said, I'm reading LBJ, The Path to Power by Robert Caro. How many guys in prison do that? He says he reads, he's got nothing but time, so he reads a book in a day when he gets a book. You can send him books. They have to come directly from the publisher. They have to have Amazon send them, or the publisher send them. But just send it right to the prison, addressed to Julius, and he'll have some books to read. Julius is intelligent. I would say he's the intellectual equal of anybody here. He's well informed on current events. We were talking about Obama and Angela Merkel when I was there on Saturday. He's a caring person. He always asks what's going on in my family, how my day's been. When I talked to him yesterday, the first thing he wanted to know was, my wife went on a mission trip to Dominican Republic. How's your wife? How did she enjoy that? And I can tell you the thing, when he saw the documentary, he was pleased to see the documentary come out. But what he didn't realize was the destruction that the police wrought on his parents' home. And he was really upset, especially for his mother, about having to rebuild and recover from that on top of everything else. He's artistic when he writes letters. He can't write small, so he writes big, and he draws faces and makes really artistic letters on them. He has a book of poems on Amazon. There's a book of poems they wrote while he was in prison. It was published 3 years ago. If you go to Amazon, you can order it for about $23. He's strong. I mean, his troubles dwarf ours. You know, when I talk to him, it's hard to feel bad about things that are happening to you in your own life, because it just seems like they don't compare. But he's not eaten up about it. He hasn't given up hope. He's resigned, to the possibility that, this just may be the way it's going to be for him. But he's still hoping. He still hopes that if the word gets out, that something will come through and some evidence will come in and he'll get a new trial. He said several times, I feel like my life stopped when I was 19 years old. And he said, I haven't grown. And I said, that's not true. That's not true. You've grown a lot. You're one of the strongest men I've ever seen. I mean, you've learned how to survive in a place where surviving is just an all-day struggle. I asked him what he wanted to do when he got out. And he thought about it for a day. He thinks about things before if I ask him a question, he'll think about it and tell me the next time we talk. He said he wants to be a motivational speaker. Go to high schools, talk to youth, tell them about the choices they face in life, about the consequences of hanging out with the wrong crowd. Holding himself up as an example of what can happen to you. I've never really experienced firsthand the conditions on death row or heard much about him, but just from talking to him, he's in essentially solitary confinement 24/7. He's in his cell 23 hours a day. He's allowed to go 1 hour a day into a 20 by 20 room that has bars and open air in it. And that's the outside time, the yard time. And when he goes in that room, he has to be in shackles and handcuffs. So he doesn't go. He doesn't want to, it's not worth it to him to have to be chained up like that. He showers 3 times a week for 5 minutes. That's all he's allowed. He wears shackles and handcuffs when he goes to the shower. He's not allowed contact visits, even with his family. His mother, I think he got to see the family for a grandmother's death. But other than that, his parents haven't been able to hold him since he was 19 years old. You can go on Saturday and Sunday morning to death row to visit him. And he's behind a glass screen. And you sit there on the bar stool, and he comes in shackles and handcuffs in the other room. And then they have a grid, and you both get up next to it and talk. And that's his visitation. He said the food's so bad he can't eat it. They have a canteen, if he gets any money, that just basically has vending machines with snack food and other kind of food. That's more nutritious for him he feels like it's more nutritious. He works out every day. He does push-ups every day, and he does curls. I said, how do you do curls? He loads up his sock with whatever's in his room. He says, everything is like death here. Guards treat us like we're not human beings. It's like we're just supposed to just sit here and wait for our death. I asked him for a poem that I could read to you. I know you might hear a lot of poems tonight, but I asked what poem would he like to have read, and he said he didn't have a copy of it anymore. He doesn't have his book, and he doesn't have the poems that he wrote. He had to send them in to have them transcribed. But he wanted y'all to hear a poem he wrote called "Trial Forgiveness," and trial means true, real. And he has a rhythm like a rapper in a lot of his there's a lot of his poems in here, and I'm not going to attempt to do a rap rhythm to it. I think I'd be the last person you'd want to hear do a rap rhythm to one of his poems. But this is Trial Forgiveness. They want to know if I care. Better yet, if I scare. But how do I even dare? Let alone even decide to declare, when I'm fully aware of the deceit in the stare, of the hate in their prayer. They say, come, sit, share. But if I take the time to prepare, I can see the menace in their glare. They want to trap me like a hare, shoot me down like some useless mare, with no concern for how my seeds will fare. Because they feel there is nothing to spare, not even with my son's emotions revealed bare. For trial, true and real forgiveness is beyond rare, especially considering I'm not the one who squeezed the hardware. And as a pastor, I like to end on a little more uplifting note than that, so I've got another one that he's got on the other page. It's called Trial Love. You always got to look for the good news. A love that transcends, a touch that never ends, a smile that instantly mends, a helping hand that always extends, a shoulder that forever lends, a purpose that never pretends, an agenda that never depends, action that always intends. No matter the change in trends, with a back that willingly bends. It's the loyalty between true friends, the camaraderie no matter who wins, like the joy a new life rends. It can't be bought, no matter how much one spends, for it's the gift of true love only God sends. Thank you.
We want justice.
We want justice.
Free JJ.
Free JJ.
We want justice.
We want justice.
Free JJ.
Free JJ.
Next up, we have the most intricate to why we are here. These folks have played the major part in our quest for Julius's exoneration. Y'all have seen them on the ABC Lab Defense Show. We're going to bring up Mr. Dale Bass and his attorney team. Let's give them a hand.
Thank you, Jimmy, for organizing this, and thanks to the Coalition and the NAACP for sponsoring this event tonight. 2 years ago tomorrow, our office was appointed to represent Julius. I'm with the Federal Public Defender in Arizona, and we were asked to take the case because the Federal Public Defender in Oklahoma had a conflict. So we were asked to take a case that was out of court, and all that was left was clemency. The case looked really bad. There was no defense that was offered at trial. No investigation was done before we got the case. Our team took it apart. Some of what we found was stunning. We learned that the co-defendant in the case, the man that gave Julius up, bragged to prisoners in jail that even though the state said he was going to do 30 years in exchange for his plea, that he would get out in 15 years. And he did. The lawyers who represented Julius at trial never investigated that, never called those witnesses to testify at trial. We also learned that the police and prosecutors relied on confidential informants, people who pointed the finger at Julius so that they could get a benefit in cases, in other cases that were pending against them. Charges were dropped, charges were reduced. There was evidence that was untested. There was that red bandana that no one ever looked at. And the victim's sister described the assailant as a black man wearing a stocking cap with a red bandana over his face, and there was half an inch of hair hanging out from the cap, half an inch to an inch of hair. There was an official photograph that was taken 10 days before Mr. Howell was killed, a photograph of Julius that showed that he had short hair and his hair could not be hanging out from the cap. We also learned that race was an issue in this case. There was a study from 1990 through 2012 that if a black man is charged with the murder of a white man, he has a 3 times more likely chance of getting the death penalty. We also learned that one of the jurors who voted to sentence Julius to death used the N-word during discussions with other jurors and said he should be put in a box and buried outside. So where are we now with Julius's case? We have a petition pending before the United States Supreme Court on the race study issue, and we expect the Supreme Court to decide in September whether it will look at the case. That petition has been pending before the U.S. Supreme Court since November of 2017. We also have a case in front of the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals on the issue of the juror using the N-word. And the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals will decide whether there will be a hearing on that issue. And finally, the red bandana is safely outside of the state of Oklahoma. At a private laboratory, and we're in the process of having it tested. But we need to be patient. This isn't CSI. We're not going to get an answer overnight. It's going to take a little bit of time, so we ask for your patience. And finally, we're still investigating this case. If you know something, if you heard something, if you saw something, even if it's gossip or a rumor, 2 of our investigators are here, Lamont and Rebecca. Please show yourself so people can see you. Talk to Lamont and Rebecca after the rally if you know something, if you saw something, if you heard something. It's really important. The only way that we're going to do this is if we all work together. The lawyers need your help. We appreciate everybody's support. We appreciate the Jones family and how they've opened up their home to us. And I think everybody here needs to send a tweet, an email, a little note to Viola Davis and Julius Tennant, her husband. It was their vision that came up with the last defense, and it's because of the last defense that we're all here tonight. And I can tell you, there are many, many more Julius Joneses on death row across the country. Again, thank you for your support, and visit with Lamont and Rebecca afterwards. Thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be Anthony Douglas. He's the Oklahoma State NAACP president and member of NAACP National Board of Directors. Give him a hand.
Free JJ! Free JJ! Free JJ! Free JJ! Free JJ!
I'm not going to read the speech I wrote. I'm not going to waste your time with the speech. But we better wake up and look at Oklahoma. Racism in America is live and well. if you heard from the attorney, and you know, anytime you have a jury or you're on jury and you say bury the nigga, I ain't gonna bury the N-word, I'm gonna say the word nigga. We got a problem, and we need to be on jury duty. We need to register to vote. And to the Jones family. When Dale and Amanda have contacted me and Gwendolyn Fields introduced me to them and brought me in on the case, I've looked extensively at the case. Not only here at Oklahoma, but nationally we are talking about this case from the NAACP. We know, for those of us old enough that lived in Oklahoma, Edmond and Norman was called the sundown town. Niggas be out of town before sundown. Let's talk about it. We know today, you go to the park, you go anywhere, somebody pick up the cell phone and dial 911. Black man on the territory. But they don't realize NAACP in the house also. We are going to fight for Julius Jones. We need your support to fight for Julius Jones. If you look at our audience, it's not just black people here. White, brown, green, and yellow. And those people out here are members of your NAACP in your state of Oklahoma. We must stand together in Oklahoma as one race. We must call for the governor to free. Who the governor want to free? And what's her name? What's the governor's name? And let's call on her to do her job. We know that there's evidence has not been turned over to Dale them. We're calling on the DA to release your file so they can properly represent Julius Jones. We learned from our investigation that the lawyer that Julius Jones had were not that efficiently in handling a death penalty case. We know that's in the audience on Facebook and in the state of Oklahoma, we know some of you know who killed the family. So don't just stand here today. Let's tweet, let's talk, let's vote, let's get on jury. And let me tell you, one of my attorneys, and there's several of my attorneys, white and black, in the audience today. But one of them that I've consulted with on the case, and we'll look at some evidence, in Kim, will also talk to you and speak to you because we need your support. I don't need your membership just to have a number in Oklahoma. I need your body to stand up for justice in the state of Oklahoma. In Kim. That's right.
Good afternoon. I was asked by Mr. Douglas. My name is N. Kim House. I was asked by Mr. Douglas to come and talk to you all about jury service. I see some criminal defense lawyers in the audience. You don't know how many cases I've tried where a person of color is the defendant and the 12-person jury is made up of all people of not people of color. Now, you know, of the 24 people that initially come up, there may be 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 people of color that's in that initial jury pool. But I've seen these people intentionally try to get kicked off the jury so that they can go back to work, or even if they don't have jobs, just go back to their normal lives. And that's something that really hinders justice being done for people of color. Because, you know, the system is supposed to be, you know, you're supposed to be represented by a jury of your peers. Well, and a lot of these juries are, the defendant's peers are in the jury. And so you get people who don't understand these people, don't understand the communities that they're coming from, don't understand the life that they're living. So they're making decisions about these people based on biases and stereotypes. They have no clue what these people are about. And so I recognize that, you know, they don't give you a lot of money on the per diem to be on the jury. But it's been said by many people that jury service is the highest form of civic duty that a citizen can accomplish. And I think that people in our community, people of color, period, should really hold on to that and really take that seriously. Because what happened to Julius may have been prevented if we would have people of color on the jury. So I'm just here to appeal to people that, you know, in the future, if you get called to serve on a jury, take that seriously and take that personally, because that could be you sitting
in the spot where Julius was sitting. That could be you on death row because you had an all-white jury. You know, somebody calling you a nigga on, you know, when deliberating. And so it's very important that, you know, we take jury service seriously. And that's all I have to say today. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but free JJ!
Free JJ!
Free JJ!
Free JJ!
Free JJ!
Free JJ!
Now, one thing I'd like to leave you with. Don't boo, vote!
Now comes my favorite part of this program. These individuals are probably some of the strongest people. I'm gonna say it again. Some of the strongest people I have ever met. That could be me. I could be Julius. You could be Julius. I'm not going to rush them. We have no protocol. We're going to let them go with the flow. I have no jurisdiction about what's going on. I'm going to allow the Jones family to impartake into you all. Let's give them a hand.
Free JJ! 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 Free JJ!
Y'all don't know what this means to me, man. Y'all don't know. From the bottom of my heart, y'all don't know what this means to me. Man, like, I almost feel like me and my brother, this is the same person. If y'all know me, y'all know it was things that he was good at that I wasn't, and vice versa. We complement each other like very well, and we just always been there for each other, like you know, two peas in a pod. And to have him ripped from me like that, you know, behind some bullshit. I mean, I'm sorry, Mom, I know. But I mean, for real, you know, like he said, you know, we thought, you know, hey, ain't no snitching, all this, you know, boy. But turns out, you know, that's what people do to get away, and I understand. But all I'm gonna say is from the bottom of my heart, man, thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for caring. You know, thank y'all for all the positive words of encouragement. You know, your prayers, your positive energy. Man, God bless you. Love you. Thank you for all of it. My brother also, he wanted to thank y'all. You know, the same thing. Thanks for all the letters. Thanks for doing, you know, any little thing you can do, man. Just being here, you know, sending him stuff, or, you know, talking to other people about it, man. Getting the word out, you know. If you know somebody that can, you know, that can do something to, you know, turn this around even more. Because, I mean, but like what Viola Davis and them did, man, like, it's brought so much light, you know, to this situation. You know what I'm saying? And for real, like the pastor was saying, like, that's what my brother wants to do. He wants to be a beacon of light, man, of hope for everybody, man, that has been wrong like this. And not in the end, a beacon to keep people from going through this same thing again, man. So, you know, that's all I have to say. You know, I'm a saying that I made with my brother, you know, infinite love. You know, I put infinite love to all y'all, man. Everybody that could make it and couldn't make it, infinite love, man, from the bottom of my heart.
Free JJ! Free JJ! Free JJ!
I got bounced from that.
First of all, giving honor to God be glory. A lot of people say that I'm strong. I'm not strong.
I feel like a palm tree. It looks like it's weak, but it has some strong roots. And I like to write. I'm glad my pastor's here. And I'm not going to pronounce his name. And before we leave, I'd like for him to say something. Because he's always supported me, and he's a millennium pastor. So I'm getting there. Change is good. And I thank God for him. And I thank God for all my church members, my friends, and my students, my teacher friends. And they just haven't changed. They're still the same. They just, like Jesus, the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. And all of you that are here. And I don't like to call names, because when you call names, somebody's left out. But I just want to thank everyone for being here, and my sorors. I have 2 different, education and public service. I just love that, and that's where I draw my strength, from those 2 sororities and some of the other auxiliaries that I belong to. So that's where I draw my strength, from helping others and taking the focus off of me, because I can be you and you can be me. And so many things my mother always taught me, to treat people the way you want to be treated. And I found that it's not hard to treat people the way you want to be treated. And sometimes it doesn't happen like that. And I'm not bitter. Sometimes I get disappointed because I don't like negative words. Even though I was a math teacher, it looked like sometimes in a language arts class. Because I like sayings, I like positive things. And every student I've ever taught, if they can add, subtract, multiply, know the basics, they can do physically anything. And all of them, I'm just so proud of them when I see them. I don't know their names, but I know all my babies by their eyes. And all of them I'm so proud of. I really am. And I'm going to stop talking about that. I've written so many things, and I guess it's like Martin Luther King. I write one thing and do something else. But I had to just think on justice. And was thinking about one size does not fit all. Oh, God just gave me so many things. So I'm going to try and follow after my baby boy. Maybe I'll write if I ever just slow down and put things together. But right now I'm thinking on justice. Justice is like fire. If one covers it with a veil, it still burns. And I don't know who the author was. I have a soror, she's not here with us. But you have to always give people credit for whatever they say and do. So whoever, thank you for that word. And then also, things that I read ritually. Realistically, I'm sorry. Justice is the respect, observance of all that is fair and equitable in human relations. Anything that lacks justice is normally wrong. Today we are here to ask for justice to be tendered to everyone, regardless of race, creed, color, or sex. That which is his or her due. Again, justice is respectful observation of all that is fair and equitable. Anything that lacks justice is morally wrong.
I want to thank everybody for coming here and showing this love for my son. He dearly needed it. And he's up so good right now. And God bless y'all all. And I'm just thankful for everybody to come here. I'm thanking for the Jones defense. I'm thanking for my other son over here and his father. So many people in the audience that we know. So many kids I know that I coach. Help them learn different things. And my grandkids. And God has just been so good to us. Because without God, we couldn't have made it. He's our strength. And so, I'm just going to do as y'all say. Free JJ. Free JJ. Free JJ. And thank y'all for coming out. God bless you.
Jones. I don't know how to follow up with everything that they've said, but this is family out here, and we fighting for families. Julius wanted me to let y'all know. He wanted me to let y'all know that he's grateful for the letters that he has received within the last few days. He kind of laughed, but I know he wanted to cry. Because he said, man, Ned, I got 44 letters. This is afternoon. This was yesterday. He said, I still haven't responded to the other ones. You know, I respond back to that. I was like, man, take your time. He said, take your time. He said, I know, but I told him I was going to respond back. He said, they know the situation. He said, well, they don't know everything. He said, I can't get a lot of stamps each month. I said, okay, well, I'm going to tell them at the rally. But he said a lot of you out there have touched his very soul. And he believes he's not a monster. That's something that stuck with me just when I was 13. I was 13, so I'm telling my age right now. So I'm very appreciative. Julius is very appreciative. He wants y'all to know that he's ready to come home. He thanks you for the love and support, and then even if you just send a card, that means a lot to him. He said he thanks you for the donations, monetary donations. He thanks you for uplifting his family. He thanks you for, he said he thanks you for, so much we was talking about in such a short minute. But a lot of times, he said just hearing people's voice talking on TV, and he knows he's a human. You know, he thanks y'all for speaking out. I'm very appreciative. A lot of you I haven't seen you since I was 13. I don't know what else to say other than keep speaking for Julius. If you know something, get with the Jones defense team. We have Lamont, we have Rebecca, we have Del Bache. Your voice matters, just like your vote matters. When I turned 18, I was so ready to vote. To all the kids out there, well, we all kids, but to all the kids out there, we want y'all to know that you need to listen to your parents. If you need an excuse, oh, my mama, my dad is calling me. I think I heard him calling me. He said don't hang with other people just because they seem cool and they got, you know, a lot of material things. Also, if you don't know Jesus Christ, I would not be standing right here today if I didn't know Jesus Christ. If you don't know Jesus, there are a lot of ministers around. There are a lot of Christian brothers and sisters around. Talk to somebody. If you're depressed, talk to somebody. If you feel like you're about to make the wrong decision, talk to somebody. Somebody is out there that's going to listen to you. Again, I just want to let everybody know that Julius truly thanks you, and he says to keep speaking for him. Keep supporting his mouthpiece, Jimmy Lawson. Keep helping his Defense Jones team. And I thank each of you for coming out. I thank you for the tweets. I thank you for the posts. I thank you for the personal message that you have sent in my inbox and not openly. That means a great deal. And I thank you for waiting for me to get back to you. I apologize. I do. A lot of you, I don't know your names, but I do know your face. And I appreciate you over the years. He appreciates you over the years. Anything that you've told me, I do tell him. I'll tell him. And I thank you again for coming out. Free Julius Darius Jones. Free Julius Darius Jones.
Free JJ! 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 Free JJ!
Thank y'all so much.
Good afternoon to every one of you. My name is Pastor Crudup. I'm at Tabernacle Baptist Church. I've only been there for a year. And this is not about me. I heard about this case when this all came out a couple of weeks ago. And up until that point, I was unaware of the true pain of this family. But what I can tell you is I do know something about their strength. It takes strength for a mother to get up each and every day and to find her way to the church house a couple of times a week to do the work of the Lord, though she's still struggling with this. It takes the strength of a mother who was planted in God to smile and to pray and to have hope. It takes the strength of a family to still trust God, even though they may be saying, my God, why have you forsaken us? And it was interesting because that was something that Julius Jones said in this documentary, in this last show. He said, I pray, I hope that God does not forsake me. And if I could talk to him, and if I could send a letter to him, which I will, it'll be that God has not forsaken you. It's this system that has. God has not forsaken you. It's those that sit in this house. God has not forsaken you. It's the police department and the DA and those who continue to hide evidence. God has not forsaken you. And one day, God will right this wrong. And we must remember that the way we judge is the way that God will judge. And so they can do whatever they want. But I know that my God will never forsake you, will never forsake any of you. My God will not forsake Julius Jones. But my God does hear. And my God will right the wrong that has been done. So I want you guys to know that I pray for you every day. I want you to know, and I want you to be encouraged. Continue to be planted like a tree by the river. And when the storms of life that you're currently in keep raging, notice that you have not fallen apart, because God is holding you up. I want you to know that I love you. I support you. If there is anything that you need from me or from Tabernacle, please don't hesitate to call.
if I have any of my fellow John Marshall basketball players, please raise your hands. Raise them up. Yeah, like, I think I played. Where y'all at? Hey, Julius told me last night, he said, tell my boys and my girls, well, that he loves you all. Y'all family. He ain't forgot about y'all. Amen. We have one more speaker that couldn't make it today, Paris Howell. He's one of the exonerees, but I'm going to read something that he sent to me in his absence. Unfortunately, I cannot attend the rally in the physical. However, I'm there in spirit for not only Julius, but for all the souls that remain on death row and the prison yards that did not receive a fair trial. The American criminal justice system can be one of the best in the world if the wisdom and knowledge of those who practice it just adheres to the core principle of fairness. It's 2018. Our justice system should have evolved as has humanity as a whole has. A fair justice system is the centerpiece of atonement to make America great for the first time. I hope that Oklahomans will champion the cause that justice without racism should not just be a chant, it should be a demand. That every American would agree is fair, especially when you have a life on the line like Julius. We all cringe when we learn a sitting juror was bold enough to voice how they really felt about this young man before the verdict was decided. And he says, if you thought that was fair, shame on you. Peace out by Paris Powell. Give him a hand because he's not here. As we conclude, I have to say thank you. I don't have everybody's name that played a part in this process. There was a lot of people that helped out. I thank you from Latrice Johnson for the t-shirts, Jennifer for printing the t-shirts, Darla Sheldon for putting all this and helping me, the in and outs, getting the media here and all that good stuff. Here she is. Give her a round of applause, please. I mean, the Jones family had a vision about, but look at the turnout. Look around. Turn around. Look around. Give yourself a round of applause. Wow. Somebody said 300's here. Wow. So we're going to end on this. Free JJ! 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 Love you all. Thanks for coming out.
And let me just, while most of you still here, let me just say, on behalf of the state of Oklahoma NAACP, Teray Gabus, former Fox 25 News anchor, is now live streaming this nationally through the national NAACP as well.